Bum, ba, ba, da. Bum, ba, ba, da, bum, ba, bum. And I'm not mad about it. Yes, I'm 24. Yes, I still read fan fictions. And what? Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Sorry if this video is a bit off center. Don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I am back with another book recommendation slash, I don't really know, just books that I've read, books that I think you guys will enjoy. Especially if you like queer books, then this is the place for you, because I'm obsessed. Also, I'm going to leave my GoodReads down below in the description in case anyone wants to add me as a friend. Please do, because we get to see which books people like and what books we could be interested in, and if we're into the same books, then, you know, why not add each other, and then we can get book recommendations constantly all the time. This is not an ad for GoodReads, okay? I just like the app. But yeah, hi. Today I've got a range of books to share. Yeah, I've got a good few books to share with you guys today. So the following, you know, yes, I've got two red, white and royal blues. Obviously one's a hardback, one's a paperback. You've Reached Sam, If This Gets Out, Date Me Bryson Keller, and The Passing Playbook. I am going to go through each book one by one, I think in order of when I read them. I think the last book that you guys actually, I left off, where did I leave off? What was the last book that I read when I last spoke to you guys? A few months ago I said that I was going to read If This Gets Out. Now, I read it that same week, I believe. So this book, I loved it. Now, this is the cover. Stunning cover. And spine, as you can see, the spine is intact because no, I do not break the spine.
Wow, what a hole.
Well, I try my best not to anyways. Most of the time I am reading it. Mind you, it has got a few little thingies down it, but I try to read it like this the majority of the time, which, you know, a lot of people probably don't see the point. They just, you know. But with me, I do not like breaking the spine. I know there's a way to train the spine of a book, but I'm too scared to do it on one of my favourite books. But guys, let me know if you've tried the spine technique thing where it doesn't break, you train the book to not break it. Let me know if it worked for you, and I might give it a go. I'm seeing so many like covers that appeal to me, like loads, that I'm just like obsessed with. Like, for instance, we'll get onto these, but these two are going to be very important in this video, because I've got a lot to say about these books, and they are brilliant. Anyway, back to If This Gets Out. Now, picking up this book, I knew roughly that it was about a boy band. I will also quickly say, if you are worried about any spoilers at all, where like you don't even read the blurb, etc., then please click off. If you don't really mind, I'm going to try and not give too much away. But if you do want more in-depth videos on each individual book, let me know in the comments. Now, this book is about a boy band called Saturday, I believe. Guys, it's been like a few months since I've actually read this, which is crazy because, you know, most people will read a book and, like, you know, it'll last them a few weeks. I'll read it, it'll last me like 1 to 3 days. So, you know, well, 1 to 4. So not even a week, and I'll get through a whole book. And this is a big gal. Like, this book is huge. Like, you know, it's not including the acknowledgements. It's 400 pages long. guys, and that is a hefty book, like hefty read. I think it took me about 4 days to read. But anyway, this book is about a boy band, I believe, called Saturday. So the main story follows a young man named Ruben who is actually in the closet, but it's not really up to him. Like, he kind of doesn't want to be anymore, but because of management issues, he's stuck in the closet, basically. And his bandmate, Zach, it seems to be the one that Ruben can go to for the majority of his issues. And, you know, over time, as they're on a tour of Europe, I believe, I think it's a Europe tour, sorry if I'm wrong, I believe it's a Europe tour that they're on, and Zach ends up discovering things about himself as he and Ruben get closer, not only friendship wise, but, you know, other things as well. He starts to discover things about himself that he maybe didn't realise before. So yeah, beautiful book, beautiful read, honestly a 5-star. But yeah, if this gets out by Sophie Gonzalez and Kale Dietrich, I'm so sorry, I'm not good with pronunciation, clearly. But yeah, on the front it says Ruben and Zach are in the world's biggest boy band, they're also secretly in love. Then it's got the 2 authors' names on the front, who I don't know if they've done any more books together. I know Sophie has a few more books, and I will say I would like to read some of Sophie's books, because, you know, some of them are on my TBR and they look really good. So, I mean, you know, I'm down to read more. I hope they do another book together in the future, maybe even a part 2. I don't think it'll happen, but I would love it to. But yeah, it's very empowering. Kind of gives you an insight onto how toxic, like, obviously for people like me and you who probably aren't in that industry and you know, aren't really in the public eye, you get to see how much pressure is actually on, like, celebrities, people with a status and people with a huge following, and it's very stressful. Like, you've got so many people relying on you for so many different things, and at the end of the day, like, I think there's only 4 of them in this band as well, which is, you know, it's usually like the average, I believe, like, of a band anyway, like these days, like a boy band. But like 4 young boys trying to figure themselves out, trying to set a good example, trying to, you know, with all the pressure of management, etc., it's just so heavy. And I don't understand how they cope because reading this, when I read, I really get into the characters, and I'm a huge empath, and you know, I'm very sympathetic and empathetic in a lot of ways, and usually it can be a blessing, but it's also a curse because I see the good in everybody at times, and you know, some people don't really deserve that. But as I was saying, I feel like I put myself into these books, into these characters' shoes, and I feel everything that they feel, and it's a lot, like, to even digest a lot of the time. You know, you've got Ruben who doesn't want to be in the closet really anymore, like, he's finding it stressful to having to lie to everyone. Management are worried that if he comes out they'll lose some of the fandom, and, like, you know, ticket prices and stuff, like ticket sales will go down, no one will want to see them perform anymore, when in actuality, coming from, you know, an outsider's point of view, if someone came out as queer in a boy band, I think if anything, you know, you're branching out to a whole different audience. Like, you know, you're showing people that it's okay to be who you are when it is. Like, you shouldn't have to hide who you are for anybody. And I know it's easier said than done. Trust me, I know. And sometimes it's not exactly an option, like you don't feel safe enough, etc. But I hope you can find comfort in books like this. And, you know, if you are someone who doesn't have anyone to talk to and feels lonely, like just alone in everything, trust me, you're not. There's a lot of people who feel exactly like you do, or who can relate at least in some way or another. So, you know, I hope you can find comfort in a book like this. Anyways, on the back, it says, an absolute showstopper, equal parts edgy and adorable, this bright, joyful book has everything I look for in a queer YA romance. From Phil Stamper, best-selling author of The Gravity of Us. Now, that's another book that is on my TBR, and I'm desperate to read it. So, Phil, you are on my TBR. And then it says, Ruben and Zach are two members of Saturday, one of the world's biggest boy bands. Teen heartthrobs in front of the camera, they are also best friends backstage. But management's pressure on Ruben to stay in the closet is taking its toll. Zach is the only one he can confide in. As Ruben and Zach come to rely on each other more and more during a whirlwind tour of Europe, their close friendship evolves into romance. If this gets out, will their fans ever truly give them the support they need? And how can they hold tight to each other if their whole world is coming apart? Now, honestly, as I've said, I believe I rated it a 5-star. Would I read it again? Absolutely. Do I think if you're a fan of I Was Born for This, you'll like this. Quite similar, but also pretty different at the same time. But again, the boy band similarity is there. I've also heard Kiss and Tell is quite similar to both If This Gets Out and I Was Born for This, and that is also on my TBR. So if you're looking for a book recommendation, even though I've not read it, I've heard Kiss and Tell is very good too. But yeah, If This Gets Out, 5-star, love the cover. Yeah, I love it when the cover is so pretty, and I love it when authors do a matte finish with also a glossy finish. I think it's a nice contrast, and it works really well on a lot of books actually, and Alice Oseman does it a lot with their books, and I love it. But yeah, If This Gets Out, beautiful book. I really do recommend it. And yeah, I cried at this. I really did. But yeah, If This Gets Out. So after this, If This Gets Out, guys, I ended up reading what has genuinely become one of my favourite books of all time. Now, you know, I feel like I need to, you know, show both, because look how beautiful these books are. So Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Absolutely stunning. Now, obviously, this is the hardback cover, guys. It's also a signed copy, Waterstones exclusive. It's got this cute blue page at the front, and also a pink one at the back. Well, pinky red. Yeah, I think it's just pink. And I've also got Casey's signature there, which is very cool. This is my first signed book actually, and I love it, even though the sleeve keeps riding up, which is annoying, but it's beautiful. This is the book without the sleeve, just got fireworks I think everywhere. I think that's what it's supposed to be, fireworks. Very pretty, beautiful. And I believe actually the hardback and the paperback have different things on them. Also, guys, I just want to quickly say, so whilst I was perusing Etsy, I came across some beautiful bookmarks, you see. And I will tell you right now, because first I got a Heartstopper one, you know, because Heartstopper, hello. If you don't know me, then you won't know, but I'm absolutely obsessed with everything Alice Oseman has written, including Heartstopper, as I'm a fan of the show now. And I saw this lovely individual also did red, white and royal blue bookmarks, and of course I had to grab myself one of those as well, because, you know. Now let me find the page. I keep my favourite page, one of my favourite pages anyway. I cried a lot, but this one page in particular really hit me. But yeah. Anyways, so yeah, this is the hardback, this is the paperback. The paperback obviously has Alex and Henry on the front, who are the two main characters, and also on the back. Very beautiful pink colour. Yeah, love the title, love the cover. I also love that on the paperback, the actual words are like bold, like they stick out a little bit. I will say, when I did my review on GoodReads, I said that I opened the book and oh, I've just hit myself in the face. Don't get makeup on the book. I opened the page and it opened on the beginning before you see, you know, the chapter 1. And it literally says right there, for the weirdos and the dreamers. And I said, Casey had me at that line, like completely. That's not in the hardback. I wish it was, but it's not. It's in the paperback though, this line right here. For the weirdos and the dreamers, and that's exactly what I am. That's exactly how I feel. Now this book, I cannot wait for the movie. Can I just say, this book has become one of my favourite books of all time. You know, Casey, I'm looking forward to reading the rest of their stuff. I loved every second of this book. I sobbed my heart out at different points. It was a roller coaster of emotion. Do I wish it could go on forever? Absolutely, yes I do. Did it go on forever? No. But you know what? I'm not too mad because we're getting a movie. So, you know, I just hope it does the book justice. And I hope that, you know, we get enough of Henry and Alex. And I have a special place for those two in my heart now. Right next to Nick and Charlie. Right next to Simon and Willem. And yeah, I am obsessed. Obsessed. Cannot wait for the film for this, because then I get to see the story brought to life. Now, as I said, I'm a very empathetic person, and I tend to be able to put myself into other people's shoes, and holy shit did I do that with this book. Also, you can relate to it, like, especially I feel like if you're American or British, you'll probably be able to relate to this book, because, you know, Alex is American, Henry's British, and it has quite a lot of politics in this, like a lot of American politics, a lot of British politics. I think that we need more books like this, because not only is it fiery and, you know, just a bit, what other word, like sexy. It is sexy. It's fiery, it's sexy, it's very sweet and romantic, and it's just beautifully written. Every single part of this book I was obsessed with. I really need to stop slouching and stay sat up because my back is hurting. But yeah, beautiful book, beautifully written. Like I said, if you like a fiery kind of cheeky romance, then this is the book for you. And yeah, I'm gonna read the back just in case anyone wants to know what the blurb says. Pronunciation, I apologise in advance, but I'm pretty sure, you know, we'll just see how it goes. What happens when America's first son falls in love with the Prince of Wales? Alex Claremont Diaz is handsome, charismatic, a genius, pure millennial marketing gold for the White House ever since his mother first became President of the United States. There's only one problem. When the tabloids get hold of a photo involving an altercation between Alex and Prince Henry, US and British relations take a turn for the worse. Heads of family and state devise a plan for damage control, stage a truce, but what begins as a fake Instagrammable friendship grows deeper and more dangerous than either Alex or Henry could have imagined. Soon they are hurtling into a secret romance that could derail the presidential campaign and upend two nations. And then we've got another review here at the bottom. Outrageously fun, it is romantic, sexy, witty and thrilling. I loved every second. Taylor Jenkins Reid, New York Times bestselling author of Daisy Jones and The 6 and the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. That's also on my TBR. But yeah, couldn't have said it any better. Romantic, sexy, witty and thrilling. Absolutely, and I loved every single second of it, and I can't wait to see it brought to life on screen. It's going to be so good. And you guys who haven't read the book, you're in for a ride, let me tell you. If they do the book justice, what's going on with me? If they do the book justice, which is what I'm hoping for, then, you know. I will still recommend that you read it though, even if you're waiting for the film to come out first and then read it after. Please do, because it is a beautiful book, and I don't think they'll probably put everything in it from the book. And some of the stuff you just need to see, like you need to read about. And yeah, I can envision so much about what happens in this book, how they've probably, like, you know, done it for the film and like put it into motion and in live action. I can imagine it. See, now on this one it gives more reviews. So we have Taylor Jenkins Reid's review. Then on the hardback we also have exquisite, a brilliant, wonderful book, a New York Times book review. We have one from Vogue, which says, it's a truly glorious thing to live inside the world of this book. I could not agree more. But it also says on the hardback, this special limited edition of Casey McQuiston's beloved best-selling novel features illustrated end papers and a brand new chapter from Henry's point of view and more, which I've read. That's another thing. The paperback doesn't have Henry's view in it, the hardback does. And I gave it a little read and it was nice. I really do want a second book, but I don't think it's going to happen. But we can only dream. You won't be disappointed if you read these. And if you are, then I don't really know what to say other than, you know, maybe this book isn't for you, and if I'm going to be honest, maybe you don't have good taste in books, because these two of my favourite books ever. Or maybe I've just got bad taste in books, but come on, I like Alice Oseman, so it's not possible. It's not possible for me to have bad taste in books, I don't think, so, you know. Just saying. Anyway, next book is We've Reached Sam. Now, I heard about this book from friends and from TikTok, as it literally says in the corner, a TikTok sensation. This cover, by the way, fucking stunning. It's beautiful. The must-read TikTok sensation, You've Reached Sam. How do you move forward when everything you love is on the line? Even though it looks like a small book, it's 292 pages long, so it's quite like a, you know, it's a good, I'd say easy read, but we'll get into that. Now, I will say trigger warnings, guys. So, you know, maybe skip till I hold up the next book if you don't want to hear about You've Reached Sam. but if you can handle it, then, you know, stick around. But yeah, it's a deep book, so it's not for everybody, and that's fine, because I struggled to read this, and I'll get into why. Not too deeply, but I'll get into why. So, You've Reached Sam, in my own words, is about a girl called Julie. But yeah, she moves to a small town with her mum, and, you know, she starts a new school, like new high school. She ends up finding a boyfriend in this small little town that she's moved to with her mum. And, you know, she makes like a nice little group of friends. And, you know, her and Sam making all these plans for what they're going to do when, you know, they leave school, when they graduate for college. So they have all these plans on moving closer to the college that they want to go to, their dream college. They've got it all planned out. They're going to get an apartment together. They're going to live together. It's going to be great. They're finally getting to get out of the small town they live in. And they're making all these plans. But then something tragic happens, and Sam unfortunately passes away in a car accident. And this book goes through Julie's journey to kind of coming to terms, I'd say, with his passing and her grief, and, you know, trying to kind of live life after he's gone. I think this book will hit you hard if you've lost anyone close to you, like it did with me. It's not an easy read. It took me quite a good few days to read this, maybe like a week or so, which for a small book is quite a while for me, because, as I said, I get through books fairly quickly, but because of the context, and the content in this book, it was hard to read. Beautifully written, and I think Dustin does a great job in explaining situations about how it feels fairly well. So it's not a dig at their writing or how it's written or anything like that. I think it is a beautifully written book. It's just, it was a hard read, and obviously it made me cry. Will I read it again? Probably in the future, maybe I'll come back to it, but as of right now, no. But yeah, still a beautiful book. I think it kind of makes you think about, like, your loved ones more and appreciate the people you still have around you whilst they're here. Yeah, it's a very deep book, and I don't really have much else to say on it, but I'll read the blurb. 17-year-old Julie Clark has her future all planned out, move out of her small town with her boyfriend Sam, attend college in the city, and spend a summer in Japan. But then Sam dies and everything changes. Heartbroken and desperate to hear him one more time, Julie calls Sam's phone just to listen to his voicemail recording, and Sam picks up the phone. I've got goosebumps. The connection is temporary, but hearing Sam's voice makes Julie fall for him all over again, and with each call it becomes harder to let him go. What would you do if you had a second chance at goodbye? Now, I don't want to linger on this too long, because it does make me emotional. But yeah, beautiful book, beautifully written. The thought of, you know, that happening, I don't really know what to say. If that happened to me, that question, what would you do if you had a second chance at a goodbye? I honestly don't know if I could go through that again. I'm going to be honest, but I'm not going to get too deep, not right now. But yeah, beautiful book, beautiful cover. I'd give it, I don't know what I gave it on GoodReads. I think I gave it a 5-star or a 4-star at least. But yeah, that's You've Reached Sam. Now, onto a kind of a brighter note. And when I say bright, I mean bright, because look at this cover. Is it not giving Nick and Charlie? Because I swear to God it is. And if this book couldn't get any better, by the way, apart from it being a queer romance, it's also a bendy boy. Like, look at this. And it doesn't bend the spine. Like, it's such a floppy book. You can literally just, like, open it like that. And it's just, I love when books are like that. Honestly, I love it. This book is also the same. But yeah, getting on to Date Me, Bryson Keller by Kevin Van Wy, I think. Kevin Van Wy, or maybe Vi, I don't know. Kevin Van Wy, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, my friend. This book is one of my favourite books now of all time. It's up there with the Alice Oseman books, it's up there with Red, White and Royal Blue, and I think it deserves a lot more recognition, as does the Passing Play book, but we'll get onto that one. Yeah, so Date Me, Bryson Keller is about a young man named Kai, and obviously Bryson. But it focuses on Kai's point of view, and it's about him trying to get through school, and his friends, and, you know, just trying to get through and get to college so he can be who he is, be himself, be open, because his family are religious and they're quite, like, big on it, and it involves a lot to do with race and, you know, being queer in, you know, a religious environment, which I think is a very important topic to touch upon, especially these days. I feel like people can still be quite closed off. I don't really want to say too much on it because I know that people will probably come for me. But love is love, isn't it? At the end of the day, I don't feel like any of us should dictate who people can and cannot be with. I think that is entirely up to the person. Who they want to be with is up to them. Who they fall in love with, you know, is who they fall in love with, and how they're born is how they're born, and you can't change that. Like, who are we to, you know, dictate someone's life? Who are we to say, no, you can't fancy a man if you're a man, you can't be in love with another man if you're a man, and, you know, vice versa with women, and, you know, who's to say, like, no, you can't be trans? Like, it doesn't work like that. Non-binary doesn't work like that. You don't wake up one day and be like, oh, you know what, I think I want to be gay. Doesn't work like that. You're born like that, and that's the way it is. And anyone who says otherwise we'll leave that. But yeah, I think there needs to be more books like this that basically give us more representation. I think people who are in a religious environment, who are in the closet and are struggling with it, I feel like this book could be a very good read for you, and I feel like it could be quite comforting too. And even though, you know, again, like in Heartstopper, you know, even though it goes through its struggles and problems, it kind of shows us, you know, almost a light at the end of the tunnel. And, you know, no matter who you are, no matter who, you know, no matter your sexuality, no matter who you are, no matter how you identify, there's always going to be someone out there that loves you and cares about you. And, you know, I feel like this book does a great job at showing that. and I feel like we need more books like this, and I would love a sequel, but again, don't think we're going to get one, which is a shame. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. I cried quite a lot. It is quite similar to Nick and Charlie in ways, so if you've seen Heartstopper or read about Heartstopper, it can be quite similar. Like, there's certain little similarities in this book to, you know, Nick and Charlie's story, but it's basically an American version of Nick and Charlie, really. And basically Bryson is the most popular boy at school, and he basically doesn't believe in high school romances, so he's then dared to date a new person every single school week. So the first person that asks him out Monday morning at school before the bell rings can date him till the final bell on the Friday of that same week, and then the following Monday it starts again, and this goes on for 3 months. This is how long the dare is on, or the bet. And if he fails, then he can't drive his precious Jeep to school. He has to get the bus, which I've spoken to one of my American friends, and apparently riding on the school bus is not a vibe, especially when you've got a beautiful car like a white Jeep like what Bryson's got. I can imagine riding on the bus after riding such a beautiful car, you know, driving such a beautiful car. I can imagine that's going to be not fun for him. So yeah, he has to date whoever asks him out first, and, you know, if nobody asks him out, or for whatever reason any of the rules are broken, then he fails and he has to ride the bus. So I will read the back, because, you know, I've read it for the others, and it's just a beautiful book. I need to just say that another 10,000 times so you guys understand. Also, the chapters aren't too long. There's chapters within chapters because it obviously goes day by day. So on the back it says, everyone at Fairvale Academy knows Bryson Keller, the super hot soccer captain, football, who doesn't believe in high school relationships. They also know about the dare Bryson accepted. Each week he has to date the first person who asks him out. A single school week is all anyone gets. There have been no exceptions to this. None. Until me, that is. Because brilliant Bryson Keller forgot one thing. He never said it could only be girls. Now, if that blurb doesn't scream, read me, I don't know what does, honestly. Beautiful book. 5 stars. Defo, one of my favourite books I've ever read. And that's that. And I'm going to move on because we've been going on about this for 54 minutes. I've been recording this video. Now, The Passing Playbook by Isaac Fitzsimmons, I believe. I hope I pronounced that right. This cover, again, beautiful. Another book similar to Date Me Bryson Keller. It involves religion, it involves race, it involves, you know, queer. It also involves a very popular topic right now, which is in the media quite a bit, and I think it's important to talk about it. Trans. It talks about the trans community. So Spencer is a 15-year-old trans boy who moves to a new school due to things happening at his old school, after people found out that he was trans. That wasn't very nice, the thing that happened to him. So his parents moved him to a different school, which they thought would be better for him. He also has a younger brother called Theo who's autistic, And their relationship is very sweet, and it dives into that a little bit. But yeah, it mainly focuses around Spencer, how he's dealing with being at a new school, how he's trying to make friends and, you know, trying to be accepted for who he is and wanting to join the soccer team, football team. He's very skilled at football, very talented. And yeah, it's just a beautiful book. And I finished this in a day. It's not very big, like it's a decent size. I think it's roughly about the same size as You've Reached Sam and Date Me Bryson Keller. So it's 299 pages, 300 including acknowledgements. Even the acknowledgements was very short in this book, which I was surprised at because usually they're like 3 pages long. I like that Isaac kept it short and sweet, I suppose. But yeah, I would love to read more. I would love to read another book that Isaac has written. Very beautiful, very, very good. Obviously a 5-star. For me, I would have just liked it to be that bit longer, but that's just because that's the way I am, you know. I always want more, right? I'm just one of them. Just one of them. I've said the same thing pretty much about every single book, that I just want more. So you know what? You know it's a good book when I just want more of it. I never want to not see the characters in the book. I always want to see them. I always want to talk about them. I always want to hear about them. But yeah, beautiful book. I think this book deserves more limelight. It deserves its time to shine. It is beautiful. The illustration on the cover is stunning. The story is very important, and again, it's quite a heavy topic. Like there's quite heavy things in the book, but it's important. It's important that people know about it, people understand it. Like reading all these books for me have been a learning curve, really. Obviously I'm learning things all the time, especially about the queer community, about the LGBTQIA plus community. I find this stuff so interesting. I find it beautiful to read about all the different types of romances there are in the world. You know, not just your standard heterosexual relationships, which are also very beautiful. But there's something so magical about seeing a couple that share the same sex, or, you know, whatever it is, just being able to express their love for each other without being scrutinised. And I feel like everyone should have that chance. Everyone should be able to love who they want and not have anyone say anything about it. But you know what? It's wishful thinking. I know it is, because we live in a world where people don't like what they can't understand, and people don't like when, you know, things are different to how they are used to what they're used to. We'll read the blurb. The front cover says, "What if staying stealth is no longer the goal?" And Becky Albertelli, they have a few books I would love to read too. It says on the front, there's a review from them. "I loved every minute I spent in this story." 15-year-old Spencer is a proud nerd and an awesome big brother and a messy in training. He's also transgender. After a year of bullying, Spencer gets a fresh start at a new school with great friends, a spot on the boys' soccer team, football team, and maybe even something more than a friendship with one of his teammates. The only thing is, no one knows that Spencer is trans. He's passing. So when a discriminatory law forces his coach to bench him, Spencer has to make a choice: cheer his team on from the sidelines or fight for his right to play. even if it means coming out to everyone, including the guy he's falling for. Love, Simon meets Friday Night Lights in this irresistible LGBTQ plus romance. A simultaneous warm hug and a lightning strike of courage from Kaysen Callender, author of Felix Ever After, another book that's on my TBR. Yeah, beautiful book. Every single book I have read the last year and a half have been absolutely wonderful. But these are apart from, this, without giving too much away, You've Reached Sam involves some sort of queer aspects, but it's not large. But this is basically, other than You've Reached Sam, really, this is my queer book recommendation, or just book recommendation in general. And I hope you enjoyed. Sorry for how long this video was, guys. I just think it's important to give each individual one of these books their time in the limelight, to, even if I can introduce people to these two books especially, then I will. I feel like the other ones are quite well known. I feel like I see Red, White and Royal Blue and, You've Reached Sam, if this gets out, I see those kind of books everywhere. And I feel like the ones that I saw less were these two, and I thought, why not give them a go? And I read the synopsis on both books and I fell in love without even reading it yet. And I'm so glad that I picked these up to read, especially these two. If you're gonna read any of these books, please read these two. Let me know what you think too down below in the comments. I'll be leaving my GoodReads link in the description if you guys want to go check that out, see what books I'm reading, see which books I've read, see which books I want to put on that I've put on my TBR, because I've got a lot in there, guys. Yeah, I just want to bring more attention to books like these that are a part of the LGBTQIA plus community. I think they're so important. I think it's necessary that we teach people more about the community, that we enlighten people about it, that we make people more aware, especially young kids, that we show them that, there's always a person they can reach out to if they're struggling with anything that I mentioned in any of these books. I hope you guys know that are watching that there's someone out there that you can reach out to, even if you feel so alone right now. I'm sure there is someone who loves you and cares about you and that will understand. Of course, just make sure you're safe in that environment, make sure you feel loved and protected in that environment. But yeah, those are my book recommendations, guys. Could not recommend any of them enough. I'm pretty sure I've gave them all 5 stars, which, I think was necessary. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's extremely necessary that they all get 5 stars because they're all brilliant. But yeah, let me know what you think if you've read any of the books that I've mentioned. Let me know what you thought of them. Would you read them again? Which book should I read next? Guys, those are my book recommendations. Please let me know if you've read any of them, what you thought of them, if you enjoyed them. Please let me know down below. And yeah, guys, that's it from me for this video. The next video I upload will hopefully, it'll either be a reaction or another book review, but hopefully I'll be back soon with more book recommendations, more book reviews, and maybe a reaction video. I cannot wait for Heartstopper season 2. I am dying. I am literally dying waiting. And I can't wait for Red, White and Royal Blue the film. Can't wait for A Cuban Girl's Guide to Teen Tomorrow the film. Oh my god, what's Bash has got a film coming out. Is it Date Me Billy Walsh? I think that's the title. Looking forward to that film with Sebastian Croft. Love Sebastian. Oh, it feels weird calling him Sebastian, you know. Love Bash. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see all the projects. Also, Kit's got the new horror film that I was just finished filming. We've also got, you know, The Coven of Chaos with Joe, and I'm just looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting time. But yeah, guys, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you for stopping by. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. I had to think. It's called depression.